It's this is what we're going to do is a geometric series. So geometric is a little different. For this one, we're going to find out what we call a common ratio. So what we're going to do is we're going to, instead of adding, we're going to multiply. So the way that I find that is I'm going to figure out what did I multiply -3 by to get -15. Now the answer is 5. I see you guys holding up 5 fingers, which is correct, but let me show you how to find that on your calculator. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit -15, which is the second term, divided by -3. Okay? Then the only issue is, no, it did it right. Sometimes you need to put the -15 and the -3 in parentheses, depending on the calculator that you use, but I don't on this calculator. So that means it's 5. Now, what that's telling me is that if I put in -3 and I multiply, whoops, we've got to clear this out. If I put in -3 and I multiply that by 5, then I get -15. If I hit enter again, if I hit times 5, that'll take that -15 and multiply it by 5, which is -75. So I'm going to multiply by 5, then I'm going to multiply by 5, and then if I multiply by 5 again, then I'll get 375. Now what they want us to do is figure out the next 3 terms. So I'm just going to take my 375 and I'm just going to multiply that by 5. And so my next term is -1875. Then I'm going to multiply that by 5. And I get -9,375. And then I'm going to multiply that by 5. And I get -46,875. Okay, so those are my answers. But what did I do each time? I multiplied by 5 and multiplied by 5. So then instead of saying a common difference, we would say that this has a common ratio. Ratio is the same word that we use for rate, which is 5. And we could say, you could even say R equals 5, because the ratio equals 5. Okay? Now, for this one, we're only going to focus on the explicit form, because recursive is really only for arithmetic. Although you could do, well, you wouldn't call it recursive, but we're going to do the explicit formula, and it's written just a little differently. The explicit formula is just going to be a sub n is equal to, and then we need to list the first term. So remember that this first term is a sub 1. To do a quick review, this is a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, whoops, 4, and so on and so forth. So a sub n is equal to the first term, which is -3, times the common ratio, right, which is 5. And then we can do n to the -1 up here. So now if I want to double check that, I could say a to the 1 is equal to -3 times 5 raised to the 1 minus 1. Wherever there's an n, I'm just going to plug in a 1. So that would be equal to -3. Now what's 1 minus 1?
It's 0.
0. What's any number raised to the 0? No.
It's the same number I'm at.
No. When we take any number and we raise it to the 0, it always equals 1. So -3 times 1 is equal to -3. That's how you know it works.